He has dozens, if not hundreds, of soldiers at his command. You cannot hope to match him by yourself. But fear not, for you will not have to. We have an entire army of our own, merely awaiting the order to take up arms.
You also do some voice acting work for video games, as you mentioned, Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six, to name a few.
Yep.
What's that process like, and how might that differ in terms of like even the script you get to actually recording the lines? Like, talk to me about some of the differences between doing voice work for video games.
There's a lot. First of all, due to the nature of video games, there are so many tracks to record for every eventuality that it's a much different beast. First of all, there's also motion capture. So sometimes you're hired, like in the Assassin's Creed games. I did a couple. One was Paul Revere. One I played Maximilien Robespierre. For those games, I did the motion capture as well. So that's when you're in the full suit with a helmet cam and markers on your face. And so you're being recorded and you're in what they call the volume. And I think there's 64 infrared cameras shooting you from every angle at every moment.
Crazy, yeah.
So it's a super, it's not like a film and TV environment. It's very much like a factory environment, whereby, cut, we go back, we start again. In one scene you're filming, you're the absolute center of, what's going on, and then you break, have lunch, and come back, and now you're the guy holding the spear in the back of the room. There's a different feel to the day, but also in studio, there's things we call barks and onos. So there's stuff you have to record that is like basically fight sounds. So you'll have 4 pages of a hit, and then a hit to the head, and then a hit to the head, and a scream, and then a scream, and this is a real thing, like a scream underwater, and then a scream on fire, and then a scream being electrocuted. So,
and how would they differentiate those screams? Like, I'm assuming they're not actually setting you on fire. So how do they like, is it up to you to differentiate, and they just tell you you're underwater for this one?
Yeah.
So
it's actually scripted out. You'll see, barks and onos, and it'll be like scream of pain, low intensity, scream of pain, high intensity, scream of pain, high intensity, brackets, falling, scream of pain, high intensity, brackets, on fire. And that's up to you to be like, so it ends up, usually they save those for the very end of a session. So if you're booked maybe in studio for 4 hours, they'll save 3 pages of that for the end, because it's super hard on the voice.
I'm sure it must be really draining, yeah.
Yeah, if you start with that, you'll never make it. So there's a lot of the video game recording method is super different from anything else. That's a good question.
And I think you touched on this, but just from photos I've seen, are video game scripts like this thick? Like, they're super thick because of the story? Yeah,
because there's gameplay, and now there's more and more cinematic elements that really are indistinguishable from a film. Moments that the player doesn't, the player interacts with, but the player has no agency over. So the scene's going to be the same no matter what the player does. But that stuff is becoming phenomenal in games. The quality and the level of both the performances and the direction and the writing is just, it's getting better and better and better.